All right, welcome back to the Rational Boomer podcast. We're going to try to do this thing that we've done in the past where we do a podcast and a live simultaneously. I've been having a little trouble with getting this live started, so I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. All right, welcome. Welcome back to the Rational Boomer podcast. We are doing a podcast today that will also be alive on TikTok. We'll see how that works out. It doesn't seem to be working properly as yet, but we'll see what happens here. Okay, we do have people joining in. First two times I tried to do this live, nobody showed up. We weren't connecting. I don't know what the fuck the deal is, but I feel like the video isn't really moving the right way. Something's bogging down with this thing. Anyhow, we are back with the Rational Boomer. We're recording the Rational Boomer podcast at the same time, and we're going to talk about a whole bunch of shit. There's plenty of stuff to talk about these days. Um, Donald Trump is in one hell of a mess. He's got to come up with $464 million by Monday, and it don't look good. Now, he's telling people he's got $500 million, but he doesn't. This is this Donald Trump trying to save face, trying not to be embarrassed, but what the fuck? I welcome the folks on the live. I don't do this very often. I didn't give anybody a heads up. I didn't even talk to the moderator. So we're going in this bareback, as it were. We're just going to see what happens. Now, of course, if you run into trolls out there, Trump trolls, what I would encourage you to do is not talk to them. Don't engage with them. It just encourages them. I did a live recently with a Trump troll, HVAC Jeff. He was on the podcast at one time. He got destroyed. And then he was going to insist on that I come on his live as well because he thought he'd teach me a lesson. Well, it didn't turn out that way. It didn't go well for HVAC Jeff. And so we're done with that. We're not going to do it again. Eventually, I got reported and booted off the live, but I did what I was supposed to do, so he can shut the fuck up. I'm not going to deal with that anymore. So again, thanks for the people that are joining me on the live and the people listening on the Rational Boomer podcast. I got John from Cleveland. Love that town. I've been there. Sue says, always fun when we catch you live, Mike. Thank you. I appreciate that. We're getting a lot of people coming in and I tried doing this live twice before and nothing was connecting. It wasn't working. I'm not sure what the issue was, but here we are now. Linda from Blaine. Hey, Linda, how you doing? I was just helping Blaine yesterday, driving through there. Dennis from Iowa, fellow Midwesterner. Jenna, good evening, everybody. Hey, Jenna, how are you doing? Gray Captain's here. Gray Captain, I'm sorry I didn't give you a heads up, but leave it to you. You are on top of things and you're here. So thank you for showing up. Great Captain is a moderator here for the Rational Boomer Lives, does an outstanding job. If he tells you to do something with regards to the Trumplafucks, by all means do it. By all means do it. He knows what the fuck is up. Linda says, gearing up for the next snow. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Maybe another couple of inches. We got to be honest, though. If you live in Minnesota, you can't be bitching about the snow or the cold because we've not had much of it. Do you think he'll meet with his money on Monday? Hold on one second. That's a good question. Is Donald Trump going to come up with his money on Monday? Now, what's interesting about that is about a week ago, his lawyers went to court, told the judge, listen, no way he's coming up with the money. It's just not feasible that he's going to come up with the money. But then today, Donald Trump on his Truth Social posted, was in all caps, of course, because that means he means that shit. But he posted in all caps, he goes, I got 500 million. Happy day. Yay me. As if he's going to take care of this thing Monday. Now that seems weird, since His lawyers just told the judge in court that he couldn't get the money. And now all of a sudden, amazingly, he has $500 million that he's going to post on Monday. Do I think that's true? No, I don't think that's true. He's not going to be able to do it. You don't just suddenly get $500 million. He's been scrambling too fast and too long. If he had the money, it would have been posted. He doesn't have $500 million. I'll tell you what Donald Trump is doing. There's something he fears more than going to jail or being sued, or it's being embarrassed. He doesn't like being embarrassed. And the situation he's being put in right now is embarrassing for him. People are finding out he's not rich, he's not powerful, he doesn't own a lot of property that's hugely valuable. He's not the guy he's played off to be. And his whole life, it was creating this facade that he was somebody special, somebody very rich and powerful. Now that that's getting exposed, that is very embarrassing. And that is the worst thing you can do to a narcissist. You don't do that to a narcissist. You could slap them in the face, not a big deal, but if you embarrass them, they start to lose their shit. So what I suspect he's doing now is he's trying to put off the embarrassment as long as he can. So he's doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down. And, oh yeah, I got the money. I mean, think about this. Donald Trump has told us many things. Yeah, I'll testify. Or, yeah, I did this. Or, yeah, I did that. It's always been lies. It's always been bullshit. Why people believe it, I don't know. Essex, good. Thank you for helping save the U.S. from Trump. Thank you. I'm doing my part best I can. Isn't Scotland going after him? Yeah, as I understand it, Scotland is going after him. He has a golf course there that he did the same thing he did with the properties in this country. He inflated them so he can get loans and that sort of thing. And they don't fuck around with that in Scotland. They'll just take your shit if they find out you did that. So he may just lose that golf course in Scotland. I don't know all the facts of it, but he's not in good shape there either. Drunken God, I admire you. Thank you. Greetings from Toronto. Toronto, Montana, great state. Looking forward to getting back there. Di Lorenzo, I'm so happy to listen to you. Hohenwald, Tennessee. Thank you very much. Don't remember, did you make a comment on Oscar night? Jimmy Kimmel passed jail time? I saw it. I laughed. Did I make a comment? I don't know how I can make a better comment than that. I think that was great. And it put Donald back in his position where he should be, and it embarrassed him. And then, of course, he just comes back. He can't help but double down. He's a fucking idiot. Seeking the Truth says, I hear he got the money. Seeking the Truth, where'd you hear that from? From Donald Trump. So take that for what it's worth. No, he doesn't have the money. If he has the money, it'd already be put up. Why go through the pressure? Why have your lawyers tell the judge that you can't get the money? Donald Trump's looking for anything he can do to wiggle his way out of it. That's what he's done his whole life. He's squirmed and wiggled his way out of trouble. Somebody was always there to bail him out, but right now, ain't nobody there to bail him out. He has nothing to offer, and he's not going to get bailed out. Edward Hubbard, I look forward to hearing from you every day. You always speak the truth. Thank you. I do my best. Donna says, will Trump go to jail in the hush money case? I'm not sure about that. I mean, he certainly could. We're talking about felony charges. We're talking about potential jail time, whether he'd go to jail for a long time or not. But people are too much focused on Donald Trump going to jail. Don't worry about that so much, because if he gets convicted in the Manhattan district, he's likely going to appeal it, and it could go a long time before he actually goes to jail. Case in point, look at Steve Bannon. But that doesn't matter, because the thing about it is that he doesn't need to go to jail to ruin his chances in November. I mean, even more so than they already are. The polls say that if he's convicted of a felony, all the votes go toward Joe Biden. Donald Trump doesn't have a chance. So it doesn't matter if he goes to jail just so they get the conviction. So I think Donald Trump will ultimately spend some time in jail after going through 91 charges. Whether he'll be in for Manhattan District, I don't know. But somebody's going to get him. He's going to go to jail. He's going to sit there for a while. Uh, Mary Bachelor Lebo, I wish you would go live more often. Yeah, I'd like to go live more often. My only concern about it is the Trumplafucks that come in and they try to take you down and mass report you, and I don't want to risk my platform for dumb Trumplafucks. So I'll try to do it more. I'll try to do it more. I might even do some on YouTube as well. That's a little less problematic. Did you think he's going to be the next president? Who? Donald Trump? No, I don't think he has a chance in hell. Hello from Indianapolis. Hello from Florida. Thank you, great captain. Absolutely. What else we got here? Voters fraud proven in Wisconsin. There was some voter fraud in Wisconsin, but it was by Republicans. Uh, and there is no voter fraud anywhere in the country that is enough to have done any difference or had any effect on the 2020 presidential campaign. Otherwise, there would have been something done about it. But any number of courts have said, yeah, that's not a thing. That's not happening. All right. Big fan from Hawaii. I'd like to get there. Hello from Texas. Thanks for what you're doing. Do you think Trump will win? No, he doesn't have a fucking prayer. And let's talk about that. I get people all the time telling me, I don't know, Donald Trump will win. I had somebody talking to me the other day who is not a Trump fan. He says, I think he's going to win. I know what you're saying, but I think he's going to win. And I always say, well, please explain to me, what is it that tells you he's going to win? And there's never any real answer. It's just all about, well, it just doesn't sound good, or I hear this in the media. Here's what you need to do is stop listening to the media. They tell you what they want you to hear so that you get nervous and so that you keep watching their source, their channel. But let me explain it to you one more time why Donald Trump cannot win. In 2020, Donald Trump lost by 7 million votes and quite a number of electoral votes. Since 2020, what has Donald Trump done or accomplished to get him more support or more votes? Nothing. If anything, he's done things to hurt his chances, to lose votes, to lose support. Let's not talk about the polls. Let's talk about money. Donald Trump was all about money, right? Donald Trump fundraised all kinds of money in 2020. But right now, Donald Trump has only raised about half as much as Joe Biden. People aren't willing to give him the money because they don't support him. Regardless of what the polls said, they don't support him enough to give him money. So Joe Biden's got all kinds of money. Donald Trump is scraping for money. And he's got much more he's got to split it up with. He's got a campaign, he's got to pay legal bills, and now he has these bonds that he has to subsidize. Donald Trump is in some serious trouble financially, and if you don't have money, you can't win a campaign. I'll tell you how much he's out of money. After Super Tuesday, Joe Biden went to 8 states to campaign. Donald Trump went to 2. He was supposed to go to Arizona, but then he canceled it because he couldn't afford it. So Donald Trump can't win. There are no facts, no logic that tells you he can win. Anthony Edwards says, hello, Radical Boomer from Queens, New York. Thank you for the great work that you consistently do. Thank you very much. Abby Oates says, oh my God, I love how you come here. It keeps moving. You have to understand what happens is this stuff scrolls and I start reading it and then another one scrolls. Abby Oates says, oh my God, I love how you come on here and tell the truth. You are on point. Thank you, Abby, I appreciate that. Can't wait to play this back during Trump's inauguration. Yeah, that would be great. In fact, when Donald Trump is inaugurated, I will join any Trump-la-fuck on a live. I'd be happy to talk to him. Mary says women have come together like never before to take down Trump. There's no way he's going to win. You make a great point. There are many reasons why Donald Trump will not win, but I think the most important is the overturning of Roe v. Wade. Donald Trump has said he's responsible. He takes credit for overturning Roe v. Wade. The only problem with that, it's not a good political position. You're taking away constitutional rights away from 50% of this country, women. 75% of this country support Roe v. Wade. So when you say you're the one that took that away from 75% of the people in this country, tell me how that's a win. And then that's enough, not enough. They come out, he comes out, and the Republicans come out and say, yeah, we're going to cut Medicare and Social Security. You think it was bad with Roe v. Wade? Wait till you tell everybody in this country that they're going to have their money taken away. Yeah, these aren't ways to win an election. Preacher Man says, your content is the best. I watch all your videos. We have to get the message out. Good work. Thank you. I agree. I agree with getting the word out. Not that I'm the best. Well, maybe. Makes me so mad to think we could get 3 billion more. Okay. Let's talk about that. Everybody's worried about this merger and this IPO for Truth Social. We're hearing that he might get $4 billion. That's the valuation he's putting on this potential IPO. Where did you get the information about the valuation? You got it from Donald Trump. You believe Donald Trump? And this whole thing isn't a win or a help to Donald Trump at this point. Once they do the merger and once they put out the IPO, it's at least 6 months before he can do anything with the money. He can't use it for a loan. He can't use it for collateral. He can't get the cash. So 6 months before anything happens. And then what does happen to this IPO? Imagine this. You've got a company, a brand new company. You're trying to sell stock to this company and it's going up and up and up. But then the face of that organization, Donald Trump, is convicted of 15 felonies. More evidence is produced that he was part of an insurrection. How do you think the stock is going to go with that company? And the fact of the matter is if he goes in and sells a bunch of stock, then he crashes Truth Social. People are worried about this, that this is going to be his way out. See, this is where Donald Trump has gotten in people's heads. No matter what he gets in, there are people, Republicans and Democrats, that believe, he'll find a way to weasel out. But if you notice in the last couple of years, he hasn't weaseled out of shit. He's delayed some things, but all he does is delay the inevitable. All right. Let's see here. Colorado will be voting blue. They don't want an insurrectionist being our president. Let's hope for that. Let's hope that Grandma says it was making me upset today. What was making you upset? Coming from a grandpa. Juan, Republicans want to make women state property. Yeah, clearly they do. Why is Roger Stone not in jail for January 6th? Well, I think Andy McCabe, former head of the FBI, said it best. He was talking about it last week. People are all asking the question, why has Donald Trump been indicted for the January 6th insurrection, but nobody else? We know there was a lot of people involved, sitting members of Congress, Roger Stone, Ginny Thomas. And Andy McCabe said this. He said, I think the plan all along has been none of those people will be indicted till after the election. And that makes some sense. Donald Trump is the one person that has some time sensitivity. They want him prosecuted and convicted prior to the election. The other people, it doesn't make a difference. They'll get them whenever. But anytime they bring a new person into this this indictment, it's going to slow things down and it's going to make it more confusing. Jack Smith wants to focus solely on Donald Trump. Cut the head off the snake. And then after that's done, probably after the election, then you'll see indictments for sitting members of Congress, Ginny Thomas, Roger Stone, and that sort of thing. And it makes sense, too, because the Democrats will have more power then. They'll hold the majority in the House and the Senate, and, of course, Joe Biden in the presidency. So they haven't got him yet, but they're going to get him. Daisy and Allie, I appreciate your input and effort to keep us all grounded and rational. Thank you. And I think that's the most important thing. That's the most important message here. People say, why is it you see it like this and other people don't? Well, it's very simple. Everybody else is having their emotions triggered, or they're being sent things that they should be fearful of. I'm not afraid of anything I see on TV or anything that happens with Donald Trump, and I put no emotion in it. I step back, I look at the facts, and then I decide what I think at that point. I'm not going to listen to somebody tell me, oh no, you should be scared or Armageddon's coming. It's all bullshit. Nobody knows anything more than any of us. So all we can do is look at the facts and and uh, um, and decide from that point. Can the DOJ postpone the trials if Trump wins? Um, Well, there is some talk if he became president that he could shut down the investigations and shut down the trials. I guess that's possible. But here's what you have to understand. Donald Trump is not going to win the presidency. He has zero chance of winning the presidency. In fact, if he is the nominee, that is the best gift the Democrats can get. He's going to be the easiest one to beat. Think about it this way. He won in 2016. Bit of a fluke. There were some idiosyncrasies to that particular race. And of course, you had Russian influence. But after 2016, Donald Trump has not been involved in a winning campaign. Anybody he's endorsed lost. When he ran in 2020, he lost. He's been on a losing streak for some time, and his stock has gone down consistently for a long time. So don't worry about him being president. I know people want to say, I think he will, but nobody can tell me how he's going to get there or what he's done to accomplish that. Love to dance. Absolutely true. As it gets closer to November, it's more scares from the media. Absolutely. Um, the ketchup is on the wall. Yeah, absolutely. I love all your videos. Keep up the good work. Oh yeah, I'm not stopping now. This is crunch time. This is when things pick up between now and November. Panda Gal says, I like how Repubs are resigning, but also mad they aren't staying and fighting the MAGAs. Well, you see what's happening in the House. Ken Buck from Colorado resigned, and that put the Republicans in a bad situation. The margin is even smaller. Lauren Boebert gets fucked because she can't run in the special election. But here's something interesting. Mike Gallagher from Wisconsin resigned, and he will resign as of April 19th. Now, had he resigned and left before April 2nd, there would have been a special election. But since it was after April 2nd, there is no special election. For the remainder of the time, that seat will be vacant. That was a double fuck you by Mike Gallagher to the Republican Party. He's taken a seat away from the Republicans all the way through the election. So that's interesting. Um, their margin of error is like 2 seats. They've got to get all the seats and can't lose more than two. Otherwise, they can't pass a bill. But let's be perfectly honest. They aren't going to be passing shit. They got this bill passed to keep the country open. After that, who cares? They don't have the wherewithal to get anything done. Now, one thing that could be interesting, Ken Buck, when he resigned, he said, I'm resigning and I'm not the first one. And he was right, because Mike Gallagher comes in and now he's resigning. What if there's more? What if there's two or three more that do it before the election? What if that happens? Then all of a sudden, the Democrats have a slim majority and Hakeem Jeffries is the Speaker of the House. I kind of like the sound of that. All right, what else we got here? Did you see Marjorie wants to speak a new speaker again? Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene is upset about Marjorie. This is ironic. Marjorie Taylor Greene is upset because Mike Johnson had help from the Democrats to pass this spending bill. I mean, that was the only way they were going to get it. So Marjorie Taylor Greene gets mad and asks for a vote of no confidence so that they can put Mike Johnson in the same situation Kevin McCarthy is in. But there's a little difference here. First of all, after this vote for this spending bill, guess what? What is the first thing that Congress is going to do, at least the House of Representatives? They're going on vacation for 2 weeks. If they do anything about what Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to do, it's not for 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden, Republicans are kicking back against Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's on an island by herself. The normal people don't like her, never have, and now MAGA hates her too. So, um, so I don't know what's going to come out of it. But the ironic thing is, because the margin is so slim for the Republicans, if Marjorie Taylor Greene hopes to oust Mike Johnson, she's going to need the help of the Democrats. And I don't think the Democrats are going to fucking help her. All right. What did they do on the bipartisan border bill? Nothing. Nothing. They shut it down, and they talk about how bad they want the border, um, and then they do nothing about it because they're afraid it's going to make Joe Biden look good. Karen McHugh says, Prez immunity. Biden cancels election, jails MAGA and his king. Does the orange skin tag get it? No, they don't get it. None of the Republicans get it. Everything they did that is so egregious or borderline corrupt, they don't understand that they set a precedence and somebody else can do it, like the Democrats. They don't get it. They don't think past the end of their nose. The border is a talking point for them. It was a talking point for them until they decided to do nothing. They lost that talking point. They also lost the talking point that Joe Biden is corrupt and took bribes because they have no evidence. They have no witnesses. The witnesses they had are in jail and were operatives for Russia and China. But they know Democrats will not do that. Well, there was a time when you thought Republicans wouldn't do it either. Who knows who's coming down the road? What kind of dipshit? That's why it's important that we hold people accountable. Because, like I said, it sets a precedence. And if one crazy fuck gets away with it, then there'll be another crazy fuck down the road some point, and they will try to get away with it. And it could be a Democrat as well as a Republican. Are they raising the age for Social Security? No. And it's an absolutely ridiculous thing for them to bring up. They mention it for the spending bill or budgets, but it's just a performative thing. That's never going to happen. There's too many people that are going to kick back if they try to cut Medicare or Social Security. They're not going to do that. Trump says he has the money now. Yeah, Trump says he has a lot of things. He says he's going to do a lot of things, but Donald Trump is a pathological liar. We'll see on Monday. We'll see if he writes a check for $500 million. I'll bet you $500 million he doesn't. Do you think they will raise Social Security age? No, I don't. Does RFK Jr. worry you? He will peel off too many. Yeah, he'll peel off voters, but not from Democrats, from the Republicans. Think about who he is. He's an anti-vaxxer. He's a conspiracy theorist. Democrats don't want any part of that. Trump is nothing more than a vindictive narcissist. I have to add something to that. He's an ignorant, vindictive narcissist. There are narcissists that are very smart. He's not that either. He is stupid. So we just have to, other than that, I agree with him. This is the first time in a while I can't wait to see Monday. Yeah. Yeah. Unless you're retired. I always tell people when you're retired like me, every day's fucking Saturday and it's wonderful. Good night, all. Love, Boomer. Hey, good night, Ann. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Lisa says malignant, meaning malignant narcissist. You're absolutely right about that. Who are you to pass judgment? I'm not passing judgment. I'm expressing an opinion. Donald Trump passed judgment. Donald Trump will say things to people like they're stupid or ignorant or whatever. I'm stating facts. The proof is in the pudding. All you have to do is listen to the things Donald Trump says, and you know he's stupid. a good example, is now saying he has $500 million that he can put up. He just told the court he didn't have the money. So now when the court's looking at this saying, maybe you should give him some time, it's a lot of money, the court's going to say, well, he just said he had it. So why would we give him any break? Just ignorant. He constantly steps on his own dink. You think Biden tells the truth? Every story he tells is debunked? Yeah. Great, Captain. You know what to do. If he claims bankruptcy, does the case go away? No, it does not go away if he claims bankruptcy. But he has a problem with claiming bankruptcy. And this is the funny thing. If he claims bankruptcy, it doesn't discharge the debt. He still owes the money. The only thing it does, it delays thing a month or two. That's all it does. But when it's all said and done, he's still going to have to pay it. And somebody's going to take his shit. But one of the things about him, he has a problem with filing bankruptcy. He thinks that it'll be bad for his image, which is ironic when you think about it. Here's a guy that's been a proven liar, incited an insurrection, is 91 felony charges, and he's worried about a bankruptcy making him look bad. Now, he may file bankruptcy because that's his only chance to put things off. But it's just delaying the inevitable. And he may not because he's narcissistic and he doesn't want to look bad. And that's more important to him than anything else. So's dad says, what did you do before retirement? I worked in radio and worked in some other business areas as well. Why are so many people brainwashed by Trump? Well, one of the things I found the most disconcerting is that when Donald Trump was elected, I was amazed. I was surprised by how many stupid people there are in this country. People that don't listen, they just hear what they want to hear, and they follow anybody who talks loud. Yeah, I don't know why that happens. And I don't know that you'll ever get those people to see the light. I don't think so, but there's not enough of them to affect an election. Queenie B, today's news says Trump is getting $3 billion now from investment checks. Today's New York Times. We already talked about this, Queenie B. What you're talking about is the merger and the IPO that he has coming. First of all, that valuation, that comes from Donald Trump, so take that for what it's worth. Secondly, even if he gets the IPO, even if it gets done, and understand there's several lawsuits around this thing, so there are hurdles to jump over. They came together and agreed to the merger, but the IPO is a different situation. We've got these lawsuits going on, and it's going to Donald Trump this shit. It's going to delay things. But even if the IPO happens tomorrow, he can't access any money for at least 6 months, and probably longer than that. When you hear on the media that he's got this $3 billion coming in, he's going to be saved. No. And even if he had $3 billion, he's still going to jail for his crimes. It doesn't matter how much money he has. So don't worry about that merger thing. It's a bunch of shit. I mean, here's what you have to understand. He's valuing the company at such. But say they get the IPO and the stock's out there and it's doing well. But the face of that company is Donald Trump. Say he gets 15 felony charges. More evidence comes out that he's part of the insurrection. How do you think the stock's going to do that? I'm surprised this other company was willing to merge with him because it's not a good gamble. I voted for Trump twice and will again. I'm a retired cop and military veteran. We are not stupid. Go ahead, vote for him. You'll be one of the few. He's going to lose again, and I'm sorry to disappoint you. You were in radio, but are lawyer and financial advisor too? No, I've never been a lawyer or a financial advisor. From your mouth to God's ears, you mean the BS made up crimes? It's hard to be made up crimes if the evidence is right there. Let me give you an example. Did he steal classified documents? Well, they found the classified documents in his house. He tried to hide them. He refused to turn them over. That's hardly a fake crime. That is, in fact, a crime. Trump is definitely not going to win. That's absolutely true. I love your content. Thank you. I'm at work and the maggots are mad. You know what else? They're not just mad, they're fucking terrified. And they should be terrified because it's all about to end for them. True Social has 2 million members. People think that that's worth 3 billion. That's absurd. Absolutely. That's my point. True Social isn't a serious app. TikTok has 170 million people on it, half the country. And you really think that True Social's worth 3 billion? No way. This is great. Maybe we can get our country back uh, afterward. Absolutely, we can get the country back, but understand this: even if the Democrats win the House and the Senate and the presidency, we got a big hole to dig out of. We're going to have to do a lot of work. We're going to have to stay strong. And even if the Democrats are in charge, we got to keep pushing them to make sure they do what they're supposed to do. Remember, they had an opportunity to codify Roe v. Wade, and they said, yeah, we don't need to do it now. As soon as they get the power, they need to codify Roe v. Wade. They need to straighten out the courts, need to straighten out the Supreme Court, because without a legitimate Supreme Court, we don't have democracy. They need to cancel Citizen United, and they need to start taking control of things and getting it back to the people, the middle class. That's the only way this country succeeds. Um, How is Trump even alive? The John just should have gotten him by now. You know, this is one thing I've said all along. The man is 78 years old or will be 78 years old. He's not mentally healthy. He's not physically healthy. He's got more pressure on him than any human in this country. 91 felony charges. They're going to take all his money. He's being exposed for the fraud and the criminal he is. Donald Trump is a narcissist, so this embarrassment thing is especially tough on him. I don't honestly think he'll be the nominee. I think he'll be crushed one way or another before he gets to the nomination. I honestly do. But if he does get the nomination, I will say this: that is a gift to the Democrats because Joe Biden will easily beat Donald Trump. Moskowitz made Comer and Jordan look stupid as always. Yeah, they keep having these hearings, and every time they do, they get embarrassed. They look stupid. It's fucking ridiculous. I don't know. You know, if you've done something once or twice, why would you do it again? What what are you possibly gaining? Trump has divided our country. We need to send lots of love to the MAGA morons. You certainly divided the country. About sending love to MAGA? No. I mean, there are some things you can forgive people for. But when it comes to overturning elections, undermining democracy, and overthrowing the government, that's too far. That is unforgivable. I have people that I know, family members, friends, and such. And even after this is all said and done, if they come to me and say, yeah, geez, I'm sorry I was wrong, it doesn't matter. It's unforgivable. I can't trust you. I can't trust that you're not going to fall into some other fucking rut with some other dipshit. Why do so many Americans blame Biden for the border crisis when he offered the bipartisan bill? Well, it's about messaging. It's about Republicans continuing to say, Joe Biden's at fault. Joe Biden's at fault. People buy into it, certainly Republicans, but even Democrats. Just because it's a lot of noise and it's loud, they say, well, it must be true. But if you slow down, take the emotions out, and look at the facts, it's not true. Joe Biden has been trying to do things for the border. Lastly, that bipartisan bill. Who was it that shut it down? Donald Trump and the Republicans. If Joe Biden had his way, that bipartisan bill would have been enacted. He could shut down the border in the case where there's extreme crowds coming to the border. But Republicans took that away because they think that's a talking point for them. But in fact, what they did cost them that talking point. They can't say they care about the border because what they did proved exactly the opposite. We need to start focusing on local legislation. Yeah, we definitely do. We got some fucked up state legislatures. The important thing is to understand that voting for president is important. Voting for the House and the Senate is important, but also voting for state legislatures, governors, local city council people, that sort of thing. It's important to get it from the bottom to the top, because if we have any kind of metastasization by the Republicans' cancer, we got a problem. What happens if Trump is not the nominee? Can Biden win if Trump is not the nominee? Absolutely. Who they got? Nikki Haley? There is no way the Republicans are going to put a woman of immigrant parents as their nominee. Chris Christie? Uh, who? Who are they going to put? The longer Donald Trump stays in, the better, because that will mean the shorter time they have to put something together. The way they are doing things right now, it's like they're tanking the 2024 election. They know they can't win, so they're just throwing shit against the wall. I'm a huge anti-Trump, but don't believe he'll be held accountable. You worried about civil war? First of all, I'm tired about people being worried. Look at the facts. Don't be emotional, and don't be afraid. That's what too many people, that's how people fail in this country, is being fearful of everything. Oh, I'm scared this is going to happen. He's going to be held accountable. There'll be more kickback if he's not held accountable than if he is. He's going to be held accountable. He's already been held accountable. They're taking all his fucking money. Then ultimately he will be convicted. There's no way he's not getting convicted. Then what happens? He gets locked down. He goes to jail. He's not just going to walk away free after being convicted of multiple fucking felonies. Jesus Christ. And am I worried about a civil war? The only way I'm worried about a civil war is if Donald Trump gets off free and goes free, because then the Democrats and the people that don't like Donald Trump are going to be scared to death that he might be president again. And when people are scared, they do resort to violence. Am I worried about Republicans kicking back if Donald Trump doesn't win the election? No, I'm not. People want to compare this to 2020, but it's vastly different. In 2020, Donald Trump was the president. He controlled the military. He controlled the Capitol Police. He had somebody in the DOJ on his side. He had some people in the Supreme Court on his side. He had people in Congress on his side, and they all worked together to try to overthrow the government and bring in these dumb Trumplafucks to cause this problem. That's not the case anymore. Donald Trump doesn't have any power. He's sitting in a dirty diaper down in fucking Mar-a-Lago and has no power. He has no credibility. Joe Biden controls the military and the Capitol Police and has proper people in the DOJ and in Congress. No, there's not going to be a civil war. You will never see a mass crowd of Trumplafucks go after anything again. You might see occasional crazies doing that, maybe, but you're not going to see the big crowds. Don't worry about a civil war. That's never going to happen. They've been talking about it for 2 years, and every time they say they're going to get mad and come out, they don't show up. Have you ever had your life threatened for expressing your viewpoints? I personally agree with you. Never once. I always hear about TikTokers that get death threats. I've never gotten a death threat. I've had plenty of people call me names and say horrible things and say I'm stupid or maybe infer things, but never a direct death threat. I'm not afraid of these motherfuckers. And that's the key anytime you're dealing with bullies. The moment you aren't afraid of them, they fucking lose because they fold up and die. Yeah, exactly. Trump has no power. He has no power to do anything. What's your opinion on Ron DeSantis? I think his political career is done. He destroyed his image. He destroyed everything about himself. He's failing as a governor in Florida. He's taking a beautiful state and turning it into a shithole. And when the next election comes, he can't run for governor again. He's going to go away and probably hide because that's about all he can do. Did Letitia James file documents for Trump to vacate all of his properties? No, they hadn't done that. She filed some judgments in Westchester County. That's just north of New York City. And it's regarding a couple properties that Donald Trump owns. One is Trump National Golf Course. The other is something called Seven Springs Residential Area or something, maybe his home. That's that's all she's done at this point. It's really going to be up to what happens on Monday. Can still Trump still run if he gets a felony? Yeah, he can. He can. It won't work. He won't get elected. Love Taylor Swift. I like Taylor Swift too. I'm not much for her music. It's a little out of my realm, but I appreciate the integrity of that young woman. What else we got here? Do you think Trump will get money together? I don't see how it's possible. Anybody that you talk to or hear from that has any knowledge of bonds and real estate and collecting money, don't think he's going to get it either. Absolutely not. I don't think he will. But if he does, he's going to have to explain how he did it. Now, see, what you have to understand, he has a moderator on all of his properties because of this lawsuit. Donald Trump can do nothing with his money or his properties unless he tells this moderator first. And if it's something outrageous or illegal, he's not going to be able to do it. So if he has $500 million and this moderator doesn't know about it, there's going to be some questions. There is no money for the Republican down ballot. Yeah, that's something you got to think about. Donald Trump is taking control of the RNC. He's going to drain it dry. They don't have a lot of money in the first place. But the RNC is more than supporting the president. They do have to support the down ballot, the senators, the members of the House, legislators in the states, governors. But if there's going to be no money, and there will be no money for those people, that puts them at a disadvantage. And this is good news for Democrats. The less help that the down ballot people have, the easier it's going to be for Democrats to beat them. Donald Trump will certainly get beat in the presidential election. I think we'll do well in the House and the Senate. But I think down ballot, if they aren't getting the support from the Republican Party, it's going to be a problem for them. I've noticed that more females on TikTok are threatened by Trumpers. Yeah, fuck Trumpers. They don't scare me. They can't do anything. I've dealt with bullies throughout my life, and they're all pussies, to be perfectly honest with you. All right, continuing on. I heard his wife will run. Donald Trump's wife for president? She wasn't born in this country. She's not smart enough. Well, she's probably smarter than Donald Trump, but she can't run for anything. Ron DeSantis is a great governor. Well, whatever. I don't live in Florida. I don't fucking care. Some of MAGAs are stealing from the fundraising money. Oh, MAGAs stealing? God, that's hard to imagine. I heard DeSantis was going to run for senator, if not president, is setting up wife for governor. Um, well, the wife is a little more intelligent than Ron DeSantis. Is she going to run for governor? Maybe. I don't think she'll win. I don't even think she'll get the nomination. Ron DeSantis may run for Senate, and he's got to run against Rick Scott. Who's the bigger loser? Who's dumber? Who's more corrupt? I don't know. If Florida is willing to vote for a Republican, be it Ron Scott, Rick Scott, or Ron DeSantis, they deserve what they get. I would love to see America all blue in November just to teach lessons to Christian nationalists. Me too. How is it even possible that some people say they don't know who they're voting for at this point? That's a good question. Do I think Trump will flee to Moscow? No, I don't. See, this is where people are mistaken. They think, oh, Vladimir Putin's going to help him out. Saudi Crown Prince is going to help him out. Kim Jong-un is going to help him out. Got to understand, these aren't his friends. They aren't buddy buddies. They don't have pajama parties together. They like Donald Trump when they like Donald Trump because they could get something from him. Influence, power, whatever it is. But as I just told you, he doesn't have power anymore. He doesn't even have money anymore. He has no influence because he's not the president. There isn't even hopes of him becoming president where they might get some influence in the offing. Vladimir Putin's not stupid. The crown prince isn't stupid. They know he's not going to win. So there's really nothing Donald Trump can offer these people. That's why they're not going to give him money. And that's why they're not going to give him refuge if he has to run. Pandagal says he's no longer useful to them. He was once a useful idiot. Now he's a useless idiot. Please don't say that about Florida when I vote blue in every election. Listen, I love Florida. I'm going to Florida in May, going down to the Keys just to check it out. I've never been there. I love Florida. But what Ron DeSantis has done to that state is absolutely horrific. It's not a commentary about the people of Florida, other than those people that vote these fucking clowns in. This state has a lot of potential. It's a beautiful place. But Ron DeSantis and Rick Scott and other people in the legislature are ruining that state. That pisses me off because I like the state. I've been going there all my life. I'm not talking badly about Florida per se. I'm talking badly about the people who run that state. And it's incumbent on the people who vote in that state to get those motherfuckers out of there. I follow you like everything you say about the fake dump Trump. You hit all the points. Thank you. I believe people should believe what they want to believe. I'm not ashamed of being a Christian. I mean, I'm a Christian. I'm not a Christian nationalist. I'm not an evangelical. I mean, that's the thing about being a Christian. If you can believe what you want, but if you're believing in hurting other people or marginalizing other people, you don't fucking get it. You don't get the message. Please talk to us about Project 2025. Can it really happen? What unrest do you foresee? I've had arguments on the podcast about this 2025. Everybody wants me to talk about 2025. I think it's just another thing that causes people to be scared. Yeah, I've read it and it's pretty draconian or dystopian and it sucks. But the fact of the matter is, it's not going to happen. The only way something like that happens is Donald Trump wins the presidency, and the Republicans get control of the House and or Senate, but that's not going to happen. It's just something there to scare people. And I'm not here to scare people. I'm here to give people some hope. The 2025 thing sounds scary, but it's just words on a fucking paper. It has no power, no control, and it's not going to happen. Trump is going to be your next president. Okay. You want to bet $3,000 on it? We'll get an escrow account and put that in there. I'll bet anybody that Donald Trump's going to be president. Somebody says, you got to be a Democrat. No, actually, I'm not a Democrat. I don't belong to any party. I don't belong to clubs. I support the Democrats in this situation because with the Republicans and with Donald Trump, we have a fucking dumpster fire that we have to put out. I have to work with the Democrats. That said, I know the Democrats have their issues too. And when the Democrats get power, you can bet that I'm going to be pushing on the Democrats to make sure they do what they say they're going to do. Do you think that more Congress members will quit and flip this House session? I kind of do. I kind of do. People are that mad and that frustrated. I kind of think they will, and I hope so. Do you think RFK will blow the election for Biden? I've said this before. No. First of all, he doesn't have enough support to maybe even be on the ballot. But if he's on the ballot, he's not going to take votes away from Democrats. He's going to take votes away from Republicans. So let him do whatever the fuck he wants. He says he's a Democrat. He comes from a Democratic family, but the whole family says he sucks. Don't vote for him. Vote for Biden. He is a conspiracy theorist. He is an anti-vaxxer. Tell me what Dems are in line with him there. That's more Republican. The people that will vote for RFK are the people that can't stomach voting for Donald Trump. So it will not. So it will not affect Joe Biden. The HVAC guy is on. He's so full of himself. Yeah, the HVAC guy. I tell you what, give you an idea how popular HVAC Jeff is. If you go on his live, take a look at how many people he's had come through and take a look at what we've got. It's much different. I was on with him for a live for a short time just to fulfill a promise. And the guy is an absolute imbecile. And I told him that. I said, "You're an imbecile. All you do is talk in circles and you don't say anything." Case in point, I asked him, I said, "Look, you say you got the best sources for your information. What are they?" "Well, they're the videos." "What videos? From where?" "Well, just from wherever they come from." He can't even answer a simple fucking question. I mean, it was embarrassing talking to him. I felt sorry for him. I felt like I was kicking a fucking puppy. I'm a Democrat and I don't agree with everything they profess. No, I don't agree with everything uh, Democrats profess. Here's what you need to understand about Democrats. There are Democrats that support pro-life. There are Democrats that support NRA. There are Democrats that support giving money or tax breaks to the rich. That's what I'm saying. Once we get them in power, we've got to pull the leash a little tighter to make sure that they do what they're supposed to do. Do you follow Harry? Uh, yeah, he is great. He's a good kid, a smart kid, an articulate kid. I do watch him. There's a lot of good information that he disseminates. Actually, there's a bunch of creators out there that I like um, that are smart. Um, Now, that HVAC guy is not the great debater he thinks he is. No. And if you haven't heard, I had him on my podcast, the Rational Boomer podcast. If you go to the page where the podcasts are, you go back to November, um, the podcast is there. And if you ever want proof as to whether or not he's a good debater, just listen to that podcast. I was too nice to him, but he still got destroyed. He still looked like an idiot. Yeah, great Captain saying, please check out the Rational Boomer podcast. You can go to rationalboomer.com and there's all kinds of links to all the platforms. You can get the audio podcast from a link there. You can get a link to YouTube and see the video version of the podcast. In fact, this live right here will be up for people to watch after we're done here. So you can always find a lot of information. Can you please tell me why you think Donald has a large following of people? Yeah, I think his following is getting smaller and smaller every day. But why do people follow him? I'll tell you why, in my opinion. There are a lot of people in this country that aren't living their best life. They feel like they're being oppressed by the government. They get up every morning and they say, "Oh, my life sucks because of that guy or that government or whatever." They're looking for some explanation or some help in their lives because they're not happy with it. So then a guy with a loud mouth comes along and says, "I'll be your savior. Yeah, I hate the government. Yeah, I'll fight for you there." And those people believe him because they've got no other place to go, nothing to hope for. So they jump on board with this guy. They realize they're on a fucking crazy train, but it's their only hope. And once they're on, they refuse to get off and say they're wrong. So they continue to ride the train. And they will crash with the train ultimately. What paths do Dems hold to hold the Senate? Well, I think I think Ted Cruz is at risk down in Texas. I think that's definitely a problem. Um, what I think about Republicans is they've done so much damage to themselves by accomplishing nothing, by embracing overturning Roe v. Wade, by embracing cutting Medicare and Social Security. When you do that, it's not helpful to you. There will be Republicans that have a problem with Republicans because Roe v. Wade and Social Security, that affects Republicans too, and people will be scared. Um, I love watching Stella. Oh, I love Stella. Stella is awesome. Texas Trey. I don't know as much about him, but I've seen him. He hasn't been on that much, but he does a great job too. There's a lot of great ones. Um, The Republican Party is literally falling apart all because of a narcissistic psycho in Trump. You know, in 2016, I said that when he becomes the president, he will destroy the Republican Party and maybe the entire system. I said that. I don't think I was on TikTok at the time. No, I wasn't. But I was talking to people and I said, that's what's going to happen. And I don't know that he's torn down the entire system as yet, but he certainly has destroyed the Republican Party. The Republican Party bears no resemblance to what it once was. And that's what's going to have to happen. They're going to get their ass kicked in November. And then finally, they'll step back and they'll say, well, you know, this isn't apparently working. We better try something different. They'll step away from Donald Trump and the MAGA fucks, and then they'll have to figure out another plan to go forward. And that's when I think you'll see people like Liz Cheney come in to try to straighten things out. And then she'll be the leader, or somebody like her will be the leader of the Republican Party. And they will try to come back and try to be more conservative and more normal in the future. The only problem with that is it's going to take 5 to 10 years to build it back up. They've lost so much credibility and people don't trust them and they're clearly criminal. They're going to have to rehabilitate themselves and it will take a long time. Didn't Donald Trump say he had proof of the steal? Oh, yeah, we kept hearing about the proof. I keep hearing about the proof. I've never seen the proof, though. Trump said he would encourage Putin to do what he wants to our allies. He did say that. It was about not paying enough money, which is ironic when he's got to come up with $500 million on Monday and he's not going to be able to do it. Is Johnson on the way out finally? I don't think so. What's the point? Why get rid of him? I don't think he'll be on the way out. I mean, the Democrats might even save him just to piss off MAGA. Christine Jerry, he did the whole podcast sitting in his car. He's talking about HVAC Jeff. Yeah, you're right. It was dark. He was sitting in his car, and that's where he did the podcast. I asked him, why are you doing that? He says, well, my roommate's trying to sleep. Your roommate? Who's your roommate? And you couldn't find some other place other than your car. Yeah, here's what you have to understand about HVAC Jeff. I told him this in his live. I said, you know, Jeff, you seem like a normal person deep down. You seem fairly calm, and that's uncharacteristic for Trumplefucks. I said, I don't even think you really believe what you're saying. I think you're just so desperate for attention, you will say anything to get people to watch you. And he denied that, of course, but if he is a Trumplefuck, he's a poor one because he doesn't even know how to debate. He doesn't know how to argue. He thinks talking in circles makes him a great debater. No, that makes you a great bullshitter and you're worthless at that point. Hog fan. I was born a Republican until 2017. I worked for Asa Hutchinson, now Yellow Dog Democrat. Cool. You don't know anything about Capitol Hill, but I respect your way. That's the one thing. People always come to me and they say, a lot of people will get mad at you, call you names, or don't like you. Okay, who cares? I tell people my hobby is pissing off dumb fucks, and I'm doing a good job right now. Um, did Trump find 500 mil? No, no, he didn't. Uh, Trump has changed politics forever, and once he's gone, someone else will come behind him. I tell you the one thing that Donald Trump did that is a positive for this country. A lot of the things that we saw him do and other Republicans do have been going on for decades, but it was hid under the radar. They were good at covering it up. Donald Trump is horrible at covering up. So he brought all these things to the surface like a fucking fever blister. And now we've seen them and we can't unsee them. We know exactly what's going on. And that's going to help us in fighting against it and going after people who do the same thing. Donald Trump is not the least bit sneaky. And he's exposed himself, he's exposed Republicans, he's exposed politicians in general. And for that reason, it It will change politics forever. I can't wait till they sell his shit. It will be priceless. Ha ha. I'm not even, what I like about the idea of them selling his shit is that it's going to be so embarrassing for him. He's going to fucking hate it. It's embarrassing for him. And that is the worst thing you can do to a narcissist. Um, Embarrass them. Somebody says, "What did you do for a career?" I spent most of my life working in radio and some business. I was in the radio from the time I was about 15 years old. I'm now going to be 64, so it's been a while. Is the speaker fucked? He's fucked anyways because he's not very bright. He's got no power and he doesn't have much of a majority. Is he going to get kicked out? I don't know. We won't know anything for a couple of weeks anyways because these dumb fucks are on vacation now. I think he hates the money thing worse than the incarceration. You got to understand how Donald Trump's mindset is. No matter what's in front of him, he thinks it's going to turn out for the best for him. He thinks he can talk his way out of something. When it finally hits home that he can't talk his way out of it, it's going to be crushing for Donald Trump. But Donald Trump is so delusional that if you said you're going to jail next August, he in his mind will figure out that he's not going to jail, that he's going to get out of this some way. That's the thing you have to understand about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is wiggled out of everything all his life, mainly because people have been willing to bail him out. They're willing to bail him out. But there's nobody to bail him out anymore. There is no money. There is no people that can bully for him or take him down some side door. He's totally fucked. There is no way out. Keep up the good work, Wolf Hunter. Thank you. Hi, Mike. I start my day listening to your podcast. Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Toast. Maggie, I love your content. You're so smart in these things, and I've learned so much. Thank you. Well, I don't know if I'm smart. I just have an aptitude for seeing things and remembering them. I don't know that I'm any smarter than anybody else. The Trumps learned a new word. Now they humbly ask for money. Yeah, absolutely. Hello, Boomer. I'm 62 and Don the Con scares the hell out of me. Well, don't worry. I'm 64 and he doesn't scare me because I know he's fucking done. Republicans, let's see here. Next one is I don't understand how our democracy is so easily on the line. I'll tell you why our democracy is on the line. And you know whose fault it is? It's all of our faults. The reason we are where we are today is one reason. It's called apathy. For decades, all of my life, we've had nothing but apathy. Oh, the government will handle it. We'll let them handle it. They'll do the right thing. We haven't been on top of things. And that's one of the positive things about Donald Trump. This has caused a lot of people to be engaged in politics, to listen, to look at the evidence. But for decades, we just sit back and go, I can't do anything about it. Just let them do what they're going to do. They got free reign to do whatever they wanted to do. They went rogue and then they started taking advantage of it. That's why we're where we are right now. Do I think Trump will destroy democracy, civil and women's rights? No, I don't, because he's done. He's not going to be president. He's not going to have any power. The rest of the bulk of the country is going to toss him aside. Trump is poised for billions as a stock market deal passes. I've already explained this a couple times, but I'll do it again because I know people are worried about it. Donald Trump is working on a merger with a big company and his True Social company. If that merger comes together, there'll be an influx of some money, and then they'll take it to public, an IPO. And if that IPO goes, then there'll be a value on that company, that merged company. The word is that it'll be worth $3 to $5 billion. And Donald Trump owes 79% of the company. Now, here's what you have to understand. The valuation of that company, you know who told us what the valuation of the company is? Donald Trump. Donald Trump tells us the valuation of this company is $3 to $5 billion, that he'll be rich. He also told us he had $10 to $12 billion. It turns out he doesn't. Donald Trump is a pathological liar. Now, say this merger happens and say there is an IPO. There's some lawsuits going on. That's going to put up some hurdles, cause some delay times a la Donald Trump. But say they get past them. Even if they get the IPO, he can't touch any money from 6 months to a year. And then if he does touch the money, how much is it really going to be? Think about the value of a company when the face of the company has 15 felony convictions and all this stuff. It's real easy to say it's going to be worth $5 billion. It doesn't have that many people on the app. There isn't as much value in that. I mean, TikTok right here has 170 million people. Do you think True Social is valued anywhere close to TikTok? I think not. Kathy Sanford said MSNBC said the merger will not help him. I've been saying that all along. Too little, too late. He's got to have money by Monday. Even if the IPO happened today, he still wouldn't have the money by Monday, and he's not going to get the money. It's all a lot of talk. I'll be surprised if this IPO goes anywhere. Mr. Global is a great source for all things energy. Yeah, I watch Mr. Global. I think he does a good job. Although I did hear he called me out in some duet type thing and talked shit about me. But you know what? I don't fucking care. I don't really talk to other creators. A lot of people think creators talk amongst themselves. We don't. I don't really talk to creators. They don't have any interest in talking to me. I don't have any interest in talking to them. They do their thing. I'll do my thing. Banks won't help Donald Trump. No, of course not. I mean, even if it wasn't $500 million, Donald Trump couldn't get a bond for $5 million on the first E. Jean Carroll lawsuit. Monday will be the best day ever. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. What about Trump's sons? Can they pay their fines? Well, they owe $4 million. Can they pay it? I assume they can. You would hope they can. But will they? That'll be interesting. And will they appeal it? Because if they appeal it, they're going to have to put the money up. Do you think RFK will have a big impact on this election? I've answered this a number of times. No, he's not going to. If he hurts anybody, it's going to be the Republicans. Trump has been broke for a long time. That's why he did The Apprentice. Absolutely. He tried to make himself out to be this great developer, this great builder. He hasn't built a building in fucking decades. All he ever really did is sell the licensing to his name to stick it on a building that somebody else built. And when that wasn't going well and he was having trouble, then he started this television show, and that's where he made the bulk of his money. And I'll tell you this, regardless of how popular the television show might have been, he wasn't making billions of dollars doing that. Trump's own family warned America not to trust him. Yeah, well, that's not surprising. Trump is the swamp. Yeah, I don't disagree. I'd be shocked if they merged with him. Well, they've agreed to it. They've come together and agreed to do the merger, and why, I don't know. How is True Social worth $5 billion if it only made $5 million since 2021? It's not. Like I said, the only way that valuation has come is from Donald Trump's mouth. And we know Donald Trump is a liar, a pathological liar. He inflates everything. That's why he's going to fucking jail. What about the $2 billion Jared Kushner got from the Saudis? I get this question a lot, and I answer it, and I want you to listen closely. People will say, well, Jared Kushner's got $2 billion from the Saudis. He can give Donald Trump $500 million and get him out of trouble. No, he can't. Jared Kushner was handed $2 billion by the Saudi government or the Saudi royalty, but he doesn't own that $2 billion. The deal was, we'll give you $2 billion and you manage it for us. It's still the Saudis' money. And for managing that money, even though he had no experience doing any management of money, they would pay him $25 million a year. Now, the Saudi crown prince was on a talk show in Saudi Arabia. They were talking about the $2 billion, and the Saudi crown prince said, if Donald Trump does not win the election, they'll probably take the $2 billion back. And if they don't give the money back, God help them. We know what happens when you piss off the Saudi prince. All right. Can he run to Russia? Well, he could if they take him, but I don't think they'll take him. Has Trump hidden money with his kids that New York AG can't touch? I doubt it. Donald Trump's not a smart man. He's an arrogant man. And he may have tried to hide some things, and maybe there is some hidden, but he's going to have to get to it. And since he's going to be locked in jail, it's a little hard to get the money. I look forward to seeing the words Bonesaw and Kushner in a headline. Yeah, yeah, that could be interesting. Repubs say that pay tax and yet file for income tax refunds, getting back more than they paid in. Yeah, that's a little hard to do, but I guarantee you, if anybody's done it, Donald Trump has done it. I believe everything you say, except I still somehow think that he will get out of going to jail. You know, when this all started, I wasn't so sure that he would ever go to jail being a former president. Now I've seen all that he's done, and I think we're going to see more. I think he can't help but being put in jail. But what you have to understand is he's 78 years old, will be. If he doesn't spend a day in jail, he will be broken, he will be homeless, he will be a pariah, and he will be embarrassed for the rest of his days. He'll be broke and embarrassed and ashamed for the rest of his days. If that's all I get, I'll take it. Hold on one second. All right. I got people coming up and wanting to join me on the live, and I'm not going to do that. The only way I'm going to have somebody on a live with me is if we set it up ahead of time, because I did that years ago in the past, and you get some crazy motherfuckers just looking for attention. Do you think the IRS is going after Trump? Yeah, in fact, I'd heard that to be the case, that the IRS is looking into some of this fraud charges with the state of New York. And apparently there is an investigation going on with the IRS. And the word is that there could be as much as $100 million fine to Donald Trump from the IRS. So that would be a nice little icing on the cake. Al Velshi opened up a show tonight with question, what do you think Trump smells like? I saw that. I know what he smells like. He smells like dog shit is what he smells like. But he was talking about a perfume or a cologne that he's selling. Yeah, that's what people want is Donald Trump's cologne. Blue ain't my color. I would love jail time, but as long as he can never hold public office again, I'm good. Yeah, just to get him out of the narrative. He is a problem, and we just got to get him the fuck out of here. That's what we've got to do. Previous IRS commissioner shut down the IRS audit. Yeah, well, Donald Trump had a certain amount of influence over a lot of people. I mean, the thing about it is this: Donald Trump had been committing fraud for decades in New York, and it sounds like other developers have been doing the same thing. Why is it they've gotten away with it this long? This stuff needs to be brought to the surface, and they need to be accountable. Not only Donald Trump, but every other motherfucker that does the same things. Did you hear that he's claiming he has the money? Yeah, I've heard Donald Trump claim a lot of things, and 99.9% of the time it's a lie. I want Trump and Rudy stuck in a 200 square foot studio in New York City with no heat or AC. I'm with you on that one. That sounds good. Thoughts on an Ireland possible lawsuit? I don't know if it's a lawsuit, but if he broke the law like he did here and overinflated his property to get better deals on loans, as far as I heard, Ireland can just Ireland or Scotland. I confuse. Excuse me, I confuse them both because they have different laws and they can do certain things. I think it's Scotland that they can take his golf course away. But yeah, Would I buy Trump sneakers? No, I would not. I wouldn't buy anything from Donald Trump. Trump weighs 500 pounds. I don't know that that's true. But he probably does get his clothes from the Husky Boys section. Um, Ivanka has 2 billion laying around. No, she doesn't. Loved Lev Parnas's testimony this week. Yeah, Lev was Rudy Giuliani's buddy when they were trying to get dirt on Joe Biden back in 2020. He came out and he spilled the tea, as it were. He told on a lot of people, and I think that ultimately, at some point down the road, these people are going to be called to task and be interrogated, because what he was suggesting, there are some people, Republicans, sitting members of Congress, that did some shady shit. I believe Trump no longer wants the presidency and now will say anything. Yeah, I think so. I think that's true. What do you think about Rudy Giuliani? He's a creepy old, um, mentally diminished piece of shit, and he will die a pariah in this country, and he'll be broke. How can he even make billions from Truth going public when it makes 3 to 4 million last year? That's a good question. But again, the valuation came from Donald Trump. You want to believe Donald Trump? I don't believe fucking Donald Trump. Everything, it's like him saying he has 500 million that he's going to hand off Monday. He said anything to make himself look good, but he never comes through. He always lies. In 85, I almost passed out in Taj Mahal, 8 months pregnant. He told the doorman to get her out of here. He's talking about the Taj Mahal Casino in New Jersey. I think it's New Jersey. And in 85, you almost passed out, and he told the doorman to get her out of there. Yeah, that sounds like Donnie. Do you think Donald Trump committed treason? Yeah, I know he did. I know he did. One of the things of treason is giving comfort to the enemy. That's exactly what he did with the insurrectionists. He gave them comfort. That's what he did with our adversarial country, Russia. He gave them comfort. Enjoy your content. I'm shocked at how many people follow him. Are you talking about Trump? He says he's going to appeal his NYC case to his besties in the Supreme Court. Yeah. Good luck with that. You're going to have to come up with the money first. He can appeal it to anything. That's his go-to. I'm going to appeal it. Think back the last 3 years. How many appeals has he made and how many has he won? He made a bunch of appeals and he's won none of them. So go for it. Love your dedication. Get some rest. We need you tomorrow and the next day. I'm always here. I'm a retired guy, so I'm going to wrap things up here pretty quick. But yeah, I need some sleep now and again. Love your content, and he never keeps his payment promises with anyone. Why Trump reminded of Goldfinger from James Bond movie? Well, he does look like a evil villain. He is definitely an evil villain. Do you think Biden wears a diaper? No, I don't actually. All I have to do is look at him. When you look at Donald Trump wearing his pants, it's all puffy and shit. Looks like my granddaughter used to look when she used to wear diapers. Joe Biden looks pretty slim and trim. Uh, Need to judge off the Florida case. Yeah, I think we're getting to the point with Aileen Cannon down in Florida that she's jumped the shark a bit. She's gone too far. I think she's going to be kicked off the case at some point. Cool Breeze. Hey, great to see you. My account has been shadow banned. And also, who am I able to see? If Trump goes to jail, will he still have Secret Service protection? I doubt that. I doubt that. They'll put him, I mean, it's a prison, so they're in the business of protecting people. They'll push him off someplace where nobody can get near him. I saw where MTG is trying to get Fonnie Willis disbarred. Sounds like they are desperate. Oh, they are terrified and they are desperate. And how is Marjorie Taylor Greene going to get her? Um, Well, I think I may be off of the live. I don't know how that happened. Oh, I see what happened. Okay. Now I'm off the live and I'm still here on the podcast. What happened was some of the Trumplafucks got a little mad about what I was saying, and you heard what I said. It wasn't anything crazy. But they complained to TikTok, and TikTok took my live down. So here we are, just you and I in the podcast. And I don't even know how long I've fucking gone here. It's been a while. So the live is ended with TikTok. I'm here on the podcast. We talked about a lot of shit. And I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to wrap things up for the Rational Boomer podcast because I am a little fucking tired. And we will get back at this tomorrow. I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.